What's going on, all you brainiacs out there, and welcome back to the final Football Draft Friday. I'm a little bit sad that this is ending, and I hope that you all are too, but I'm also very excited because I love the NFL Draft. Last year, the NFL Draft obviously looked pretty different. I remember my story, my experience with the NFL Draft. I was hanging out with some buddies, and most of them didn't really care about football, but me and one of my other friends did, and so we were constantly updating it during that first round, and then obviously the second and third rounds I paid attention to as well. Absolutely love it. I love it. I'm so excited. I hope that you all are too, and we are ending on a guy who probably has been helped out the most by this offseason, this NFL draft prospect, or one of those guys, because there are always guys who move up the list from their last college football game to the NFL draft, and Zach Wilson is one of those guys. He was at one point seen as this is a guy who maybe will go in day 2. Now he's projected to go at the number 2 overall pick by most mock drafts. So we're going to go ahead and get into the film, check out why is it like this. And I hope that after you look at some of Zach Wilson's throws and after I talk a bit about him, you'll see what exactly it is that makes him special. Let's get going.
Welcome to The Lab.
So Zach Wilson out of BYU. BYU, not really a school that is known for creating a lot of top NFL draft prospects. They don't play a lot of the top competition. They're in an independent league. They're not affiliated with any league, I don't believe, and with any conference in the NCAA. And so they oftentimes don't play a lot of the best teams. And that's really the biggest knock on Zach Wilson is that, he didn't play a lot of the best teams, but he does some things better than any other quarterback in this draft class. One of those things is throwing on the run. He throws on the run, and on the tape that pops off more than any other quarterback, than it does with any other quarterback in the draft class. You saw that amazing throw at his pro day. Justin Fields, though, did the exact same thing. So I'll get into a little bit of Zach Wilson's tape, and we'll talk about where I have Zach Wilson in my rankings and why I believe he could be really, really good at the next level, and if I think that number 2 is the appropriate spot for him, even though it's seeming like that's where he's going to be taken, absolutely. So let's go ahead and get into the film, and I hope you guys enjoy. All right, looking at Zach Wilson here. Zach Wilson is a guy who in the draft process and the offseason has shot up draft boards. He definitely made a name for himself during this season, just with some of the performances that he had there for BYU. BYU was undefeated for a long time. I don't think they ended the season undefeated. Obviously, actually, they lost to Coastal Carolina, which is one of the games I'm looking at today. But they had a phenomenal season behind Zach Wilson, who himself had a really, really good season. Some of the biggest knocks against Zach Wilson are just, the competition level he played in, blah, blah, blah. There are a few more, but I don't think that's something that I don't take a ridiculous amount of weight in, just because, sure, it does lead to a sharper increase to the next level, a sharper learning curve that he's going to have at the next level. But if the talent's there, which it absolutely is, he'll make that transition pretty well. So today we're going to look at videos of him versus Zach Wilson versus Coastal Carolina, UCF, and Houston, and I'll show you what he does well and some of the concerns that I have. I currently have him at number 3 as a really, really close tier between Zach Wilson and Justin Fields. I can definitely see myself potentially flipping those two, but right now I still think Justin Fields has a little bit of a higher ceiling, but Zach Wilson I do think has the higher floor, and I'll get into all of that today. Starting off here, I like to start off when I talk quarterbacks with their ability to throw outside the numbers, because that's just such an important skill to have in the NFL. Here you see Zach Wilson does it with absolutely no problem. You'll see it again right here. He can get it outside the numbers just fine. He has the arm strength for that. Arm strength is not something that we need to be concerned about with Zach Wilson, as we are with Mac Jones or Kyle Trask in particular. Although Mac Jones at his pro day definitely showed that he does have some juice there that he can put on the ball. Now we're going to get into a couple great throws that he makes. This throw right here is bonkers. I watched this and I think rewatched it 3 times. Look at that spot. There is one place he can put this ball where this guy is catching it, and he just happened to put it in that place, and then it became a touchdown because of it. That's a ridiculous ball. Like that level of accuracy is off the charts right there. He definitely shows some good accuracy, quite a bit. So excellent. And then we'll have another great throw right here. Just perfect placement, just over the shoulder, nice, lobs it in there. I mean, he's so good. Again, one more right there. That's a phenomenal ball placement, and also definitely shows the arm strength. Look at the zip he puts on this ball. He has to put a lot of zip on that ball. Receiver makes the catch, goes down. That's just a phenomenal ball. Zach Wilson makes throws like that over and over and over and over again. You'll see it again here. This arm strength, I think right there, he throws it from the 46-yard line. Goes down at the 1 or on the goal line. That's a 55-yard throw. I'm not sure if that was completed, but he's definitely got plenty of arm strength right there. Now, this against Houston, here he's going to run. This shows a little bit of his athleticism. Zach Wilson, great athlete. He is a really, really good. I mean, look at that. That's just phenomenal athleticism. Zach Wilson, in today's NFL, a lot of quarterbacks find success because they run the ball, right? And they find success running the ball. Zach Wilson's going to be a guy who absolutely does that. He's fast and plenty athletic for the position. Now we're going to see him. Now, this is something he doesn't do very often. Or no, this is something he does very often. Now he's throwing on the run here, and he might do this better than any quarterback in this draft class. Throwing on the run, I think he does it better than Justin Fields. I think he does it better than Trevor Lawrence. Zach Wilson does this super well. That's a dot. I mean, that's such a hard throw to make, and the fact that he's already doing this at a college level, I think just goes to show. It's exactly what you saw with Patrick Mahomes in college. These are the types of throws Patrick Mahomes made in college. Zach Wilson is making those throws. Now, does he have the arm strength of Patrick Mahomes? No. But he can throw on the run very, very well, probably better than any other quarterback in this draft class. It's just something he's very good at. Here, you're going to see him go through progressions. Now, this is something that he doesn't do very often, and this is one of the concerns that I have with Zach Wilson. Justin Fields, I've seen on his film go through progressions quite a bit. Zach Wilson, on the other hand, rarely ever goes through progressions. Now, a lot of that's probably on BYU's offense. BYU probably didn't run an offense that had Zach Wilson go through progressions very often, but he definitely doesn't do it very well. Here you'll see there he does scan the field pretty efficiently and finds his man, but it's just not something that he does very often, and something I definitely want to see out of him, or I would have liked to see out of him more when evaluating him, because that's a very important skill for a lot of quarterbacks to have. Now, here is another problem that I saw with Zach Wilson. I talked earlier about how good his accuracy was, especially throwing the ball down the field, and he really is a very accurate quarterback. But the one place that I've seen his accuracy slip is in moments like this. And that, there we go. Oh, I hate it when my computer does that. But right here, it's in moments like this where it's just a very simple throw. Like, as an NFL quarterback, you just have to make this throw. And he doesn't. And he missed that throw on a shocking amount of the film that I saw. Now, obviously, that's going to be something easy to work on, but that's definitely something that he's going to have to make every single time. Missed it again. Both those he missed very badly. I mean, that's just something you have to make as an NFL quarterback. You just do. It's something he'll learn. Absolutely. That's not a huge concern that I have, especially since, he's so accurate downfield. Those little throws are ones that'll come. But as an NFL quarterback, you just have to make that throw. And those are a couple issues that I've seen with him. But, again, something that will be worked on and that he will fix. And here, I want to end on possibly the most positive note that I have with any other prospect. And that is with his last drive against Coastal Carolina. If you watched this game or you know about Zach Wilson and his draft stock, chances are you know about this drive right here. He, against Coastal Carolina, you can see there, 35 seconds left on the clock in the fourth quarter. They are down by 5 points right? And Zach Wilson is so clutch. I have not seen any other quarterbacks in this draft class be this clutch. Obviously, they lost this game, right? But there's a lot more to the story than them just losing this game. First off, 35 seconds. What does he do? Immediately makes this beautiful deep throw. That's phenomenal. Gets them all the way up there. I don't think they have timeouts. They had to go spike the ball. 7 seconds left right here. 7 seconds, all right? Here's play number 2. Phenomenal throw right there. Look at that. They're suddenly within, they're in the red zone. They're in the red zone now. 2 throws. They had 35 seconds left, and he was starting at his own 5-yard line. Now 3 seconds left, 2 throws down, and they are in a position to score. All right, this is the final play, and he completes it. He completes it at the 2-yard line, and the receiver gets stopped at the 1. I understand that they didn't win the game, but if that isn't clutch, then I don't know what is, because that very well the receiver could have fallen forward, gotten in the end zone, and won that game. They get stopped on the 1-yard line. That is definitely not on Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson, in my mind, won that game for BYU. It's just, they just got very unlucky. That is ridiculously clutch. And that's something you're getting with Zach Wilson if you draft him. If the Jets decide to draft him at number 2 overall, I can't fault them at all. Because what they're getting is a guy who can go in and start right now, I think, at a pretty high level and develop into potentially a top 10, maybe even top 5 quarterback in the NFL. Zach Wilson is a guy who I think has a very high ceiling in the NFL and could very well be the best quarterback out of this draft class, as Chris Sims predicts. So I hope that you really see from that what I like so much about Zach Wilson. He's also probably the clutchest, or I'm not going to say he's the clutchest quarterback in this draft class, but he has shown the most clutch gene. You saw there, I showed that Coastal Carolina drive where they didn't win, they didn't score that touchdown, but good Lord, that doesn't mean that Zach Wilson wasn't clutch, because he got them to the 1-yard line, and that was a little bit more on the receiver for not getting a little bit deeper down the field. Also just very good defense. Zach Wilson, though, gosh, he had some ridiculous throws on that drive. He can throw on the run extremely well. He's got the arm that he needs, though I don't think it's quite as big as Justin Fields and Trevor Lawrence. It's still a very big arm, or it's probably not as big as Trey Lance as well, but still right up there in that tier. I currently have Zach Wilson, though, as the number 3 quarterback on my board. Justin Fields at number 2. Now, it is this close between those two, and I have flipped them back and forth and fought with myself over that. At the end of the day, I think Justin Fields has a little bit of a higher ceiling. Justin Fields has shown the ability to go through progressions a little bit better than Zach Wilson. Justin Fields also ran a 4.4 40, so he's got a ceiling there, more of a ceiling in the run game, even though Zach Wilson also has a solid ceiling in the run game. Justin Fields also, I think, has a little bit of a bigger arm and just is overall more experienced against better competition. But Zach Wilson, Chris Sims has him as his number 1 quarterback. I can't blame him, because Zach Wilson is a really special quarterback, and I expect him to be a very good quarterback in the NFL. He absolutely has the ceiling of a top 10, maybe even top 5 quarterback at the next level. Getting into where I think he could go, at this point, I think it's safe to say that he will be drafted number 2 overall by the New York Jets. And if he goes there, he would be the clear starter. They need a quarterback, and Zach Wilson seems to be the pick. It's either going to be Zach Wilson or probably Justin Fields, one of those two guys. But right now, it really looks like it will be Zach Wilson. If Zach Wilson goes there, he would have the immediate chance to be a starter. And so, yes, he would be fantasy relevant to an extent. However, and I say this, unless they're a quarterback who really can run the ball a lot, and there will be a lot of run first plays like Lamar Jackson did his rookie year, or you had Kyler Murray his rookie year, or Jalen Hurts his rookie year. They're not going to be a guy who will probably be higher than a low-end QB1. Zach Wilson, it's going to be the case, because that's a steep learning curve from college to the NFL. It's the hardest position in football, and the NFL level is quite a bit more difficult than the college level. Zach Wilson, I would not take as my QB1. That would be way too much of a risk. I could understand taking him as your QB2, but I still think that there are other guys that I'd rather have with a higher ceiling than Zach Wilson, just because it's Zach Wilson's rookie year. So, definitely some things to consider there. But if Zach Wilson goes to the Jets, he'd be the clear starter. He's got some solid weapons around him there with Corey Davis, Denzel Mims. Hopefully will take the next step up. Jamison Crowder. You've got a few guys there. And then if they go and draft at 23 another offensive weapon, that'd be even better. Or at 34, the Jets have some good picks. So he could absolutely be a fantasy relevant quarterback. Just not sure how much I would trust him to be the week in and week out starter for my team, especially right off the bat, since rookie quarterbacks just tend to not have a ceiling that's much higher than a low-end QB1. A lot of guys I'd rather go with, a lot of guys who even later on in rounds I think have a higher ceiling potentially that I'd rather have as my backup quarterback. Let's say for some reason the Jets decide to go with Justin Fields. I don't think that will happen, but let's say that they do. He probably would not fall past the 49ers at that point, and it would be the same story, except I'd like him even a little bit more on the 49ers just because they have more weapons with George Kittle, Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk there. Really good running backs to take, some of that pressure off, solid offensive line. If he went there, I'd probably like him even a little bit more, but it's still the same things that I said about rookie quarterbacks in the NFL. They just tend to not be better than low-end QB1s, unless, of course, they have that rushing floor where, they're going to rush for like 3 touchdowns a game, and then I'm taking them every single day because you're starting a running back at the quarterback position. It's not about how well can they throw the ball. But Zach Wilson, if you went to the 49ers, similar story with the Jets, would not take him as your QB1. You could consider him as your QB2, though. Then you want to look at where else could he go. I mean, if he falls past there, the Falcons will scoop him up. He will not fall out of the top 5. I mean, he just won't. I really expect him to go number 2 overall. If he goes to the Falcons, it's a similar story, like with the other 2 teams, just with better weapons than he would have with the Jets, similar weapons than what he would have with the 49ers. A guy who you can take later on as a QB2, but even then, I think there are some guys with higher ceilings that I'd rather have if I'm going to take, a risk with my QB2 position for a guy with, who I think could really be a top QB1. So, no, Zach Wilson, though, if he's the starter, I mean, he's definitely worth a late round QB2 sort of pick just because he could end up being a low-end QB1 and could very well do you some good things for your fantasy team. That's going to do it for this Football Draft Friday series. Go pay attention to the NFL Draft. I know that I will. I will probably be tweeting a lot during that time. If you want to follow me at Parrish_Lukas, definitely follow our main Twitter page at FF Laboratory. It will probably be retweeting a lot of the stuff that I'm saying going on in the draft. Make sure that you check out our website, fflaboratory.com. Got some great draft stuff up there. All these draft videos are there, along with I will have posted my mock draft there once this video will be released, and that mock draft will already be up on that website. So definitely go ahead and check that out. Check out what my predictions are going to be. Thank you guys for sticking with me on this ride. I really appreciate all of you brainiacs out there, all of our fan base. We couldn't do this without you, and I love doing this. So thank you guys so much for supporting us. Enjoy the NFL Draft, and have a great day.